I know you know your husband. Okay, and look at her hair color. So I just want to, can we close the doors, please, and not keep going in and out? Okay, so I just, would you like, so you were going to tell them about why you came to see the show, first of all.
First of all, I saw it and I said, I had the movie, and it's exactly like the orphanage that I was in. With the, have any of you seen the movie?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, and you know the beds that are white and they had the rings on them? We had those. We used to, you know, when they do the mopping, we used to do that, but when the nuns weren't watching, we'd have games, and we'd play games, and I always
Instigated.
Thank you. I'm nervous, I don't like to speak in front
That's
of
all
a
right,
lot
you're
of
great.
people. But, and then we had the terrazzo floors, you know, with the shoes snipping them off. We would play, you know, knocking each other over and things like that. And nuns come in and we go, all in line, like this. So those are some of the things.
Mops on your feet, right? Those
Yep.
big things,
The
with
big
towels,
mops.
you know?
But the nuns were very strict, correct?
Oh, yes, very strict. When we would go to our meals, first of all, I had 3 sisters, and they were in different grades, so they were in another part of the building, never saw them except on Sunday when the parents would come. We didn't have any parents, but we would be separated still into our classrooms, and like 8th grade.
Close that
7th
door, please.
grade. My sister and I were twins, so we were the same. My other 2, one was older and the other one was very younger, much younger. She was like a baby when she went in. So when dinner time came, we would sit with our siblings, which couldn't talk to them. And if you even looked the wrong way, they'd bring out a spoon. I don't know where, they kept it in their sleeve, long sleeves. Wow. And they'd whack you and go, what happened, you know? And, you know, if you did anything. So those are some of the things.
Right, so that really happened. Like, could you imagine you got siblings not being able to talk to them?
Oh, and
And
then-
I married this gang leader. You know?
Yeah, and tell them how you were Annie.
I was Annie because I always started doing things and I'd protect everybody. If, yeah, just like Annie, if anybody, you know, said I didn't want to do that, and the nun would swat him, and I go, don't do that. She doesn't want to do it, and then they'd swat me twice. But they'd forget about the other person. Another thing was when we had baths. Everybody like to take baths?
Oh,
Well, we didn't because 15 of us would have to go in this big, it was from here to about the piano, and it was a tub, and there were 2 of them, and we'd have to go in those with 15 girls.
Wow. Could you imagine?
And I'll tell you why I don't like peanut butter and jelly. I was working in the bakery, and as I was working there, I'd go in and we'd see the cats on the peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, and they just lay there, and you know what else they did there. And from then on, I can never have one. Everybody loves peanut butter and jelly. I can take peanut butter by itself, but not peanut butter and jelly.
Right.
So.
Tell them how you ended up in the orphanage in the first place.
Well, my mother got very sick, and she had TB, and she died when I was about 5. And then, or I'm talking about myself, but my sister was 7. And then we used to, my father, he worked for the WPA. It's kind of like the unions.
The Works
and-
Progress Administration, isn't that what Roosevelt
Roosevelt.
set up?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what Roosevelt set up, yeah.
But he worked nights, so we would sneak out of our house and go, and all the guys, the big kids were outside, you know, playing, because we lived in Chicago, and it would be hot. And they'd do the fire hydrants,
yeah.
open them up, and then when the police came, everybody scattered.
Yeah.
And
Please.
then we'd
See?
come back,
I did that.
and they'd open them up again. So it was losing battle for them. And So anyway, they found out we were skipping school when we went to kindergarten. And they took us to the orphanage at that time. I was about 6 years old.
This is about the middle 40s, I think, the 1940s.
And in the orphanage, you didn't really get to play. That's why we came up with all these things. We all had jobs depending how old you were, like laundry, kitchen. People were in laundry, kitchens, and in those days, the irons were horrible. They were just
Heavy.
like an iron heavy thing, and you have to put it on, and then you put it on the fire over here and do that. I was lucky. I worked out on the lawns. But then again, I used to get in trouble there too. Because then they sent me to the, which was a good thing, they sent me to the kitchen working for the nun there that did all the food for the nuns. And they had food. We had leftovers, you would call it, like oatmeal for dinner.
Mush.
Mush, yeah.
Yeah.
Oliver Twist.
Yeah. And the nuns would have all this fresh stuff and everything, and I would be getting some of it from them. And then I could take some by Wilson Brook.
Somebody needs to open that door.
And we'd go through the tunnels.
It's a cast member.
We would go through, we had tunnels also, and when we go through the tunnels, nobody sees what you're doing, so people would play in the tunnels. And what we would do is, I would take some of the food, like strawberries and things, and
One
bring
for
to
the
my
nuns,
group.
one for us, one for the
Yeah, I
nuns.
would bring to my friends. They'd be waiting in the tunnel for the stuff. Wow. So.
Gang leader.
Yeah. Well, I think when they do the show today, it's just hard to believe
Well,
that happens.
But we were all, if you look at people in other countries and you see the children, they're playing ball and everything. And we were the same way. We didn't have anything, but we'd make up things and play.
Yeah, yeah.
And-
But I think it'll give them a real meaning for when you're playing. Like I said, how many times did I tell you? You have nothing else to do. This is fun. You're making your own, right? That's
Yeah, we
exactly
made
what
our
you're
own
saying. You
fun,
make
yeah.
your own fun. Because you're kids. Kids have, that's why I do children's theater. They have amazing spirit. And you can look at all their faces. They're so into this, right? But this gives it a new reality. But look at, you're a happy person. And you're,
I married a doctor
yeah.
in nursing, and I was an administrative person afterwards for some of the hospitals, so I made it. And I made
Better
it
than
on my
being
own.
left on the street. See,
Because
that's
I-
the alternative.
I left the orphanage at 16 and went by my foster parents. And when they asked me, when I went there, they said, well, you can go out and play. And I said, what do you want me to do, wash the dishes or something? And they looked at me like, what? So that was another experience for me.
I mean, these things are all exactly, whoever wrote, Martin Shining wrote the show? Whoever wrote the show obviously did a lot of research, because, look at Chrissy's pride, she's a pediatrician, so she sees not nice stuff in Philly. I mean, Chrissy is so happy doing this show with you guys, because it's happy. Philly people, it's not right, Chris? You got a lot of people a lot of kids not even raised by their parents, but by their grandparents, because, and with one parent and all that, so, this, right, Chris? It's true. It's way too real. But, but this, like all the stuff she's saying, right? What should I do first? Scrub the floors, right? That's what.
Yeah, it took me a long time knowing what play was, really.
Right,
We
right.
didn't have it in, we had played Monopoly and, some board games when we were on Sunday.
Right.
That was the only time, because you had 3 hours or something, and you might get TV, when TV came out, you might get one thing on, it would be baseball, because the nuns loved baseball. So we played games
And what
instead.
movies did you get to see?
Tell me one. I don't.
Miracle on 34th Street now.
No, it was the Bishop Sheen.
Oh, yeah, Bishop Sheen, oh, yeah, that's right, yeah. So, that was about all we saw.
Yeah. Well, that was it's incredibly fits. Like everything she said, the policeman, You know? So when we do the show today, it's always hard to do a last show. But, you know, don't be sad because it's over. Be happy because it happened. And be happy because this happened today to give us even better motivation for the last performance to be those people. Because now you know that those streetwalkers were walking the streets and they were cold and they were hungry. And those, you did give up your baby.
How about the beds you slept on when you were at home?
Oh,
Did you have mattress?
no, I didn't have a mat. We were very poor, and because my mother was sick and he was working for the VA, because like now,
Right.
they don't have jobs, some people, and I feel sorry for them. My sisters and I would sleep, there's four of us, we slept on bed with those hard springs. I don't know if anybody
Yeah.
knows
I
about
don't
the
even
hard
know.
springs, you young ones wouldn't probably. And they're kind of coiled up.
Yeah. Put the mattress on
And
normally.
you put a mattress on that.
Right.
We couldn't afford a mattress, we had papers on it. And we all slept in the same bed.
Yeah. It's hard to believe that this show really happened, right? You know, and I think when we did Fiddler, because we knew it really happened and we really made it real from the beginning, it felt so real, too real sometimes. When Tom in one show disowned Chrissy, it was, I mean, she just sank to her knees and cried, real cry. But now that we know all this happened, I think it could be much better orphans. But like she said, she's not an unhappy, I mean, she's a happy person.
Don't cry for me, I call myself Christmas Carol.
Yay.
Get away too.
Oh, you tried to get away? But they caught you and brought you back?
Yeah. They were
Yes.
sorry they brought me back.
You are right.
Yeah. Well, this has been unbelievable. The timing is unbelievable. Luckily, Mrs. Parker had talked to her because I think it'll give them, right, renewed inspiration for the last show. And I don't think I really need to say anything else after this because that says it all. And we're so fortunate. Just so you know, it's a youth theater group that started 27 years ago. My daughter Chrissy was in the first Annie. But we're so fortunate to have, like, all these kids. What's the matter? What's that?
We're good.
We're so fortunate to have each other, right, to be able to do this. And you know, it's just for 27 years.
Well, I thank you also because I don't really always talk about
Well,
it.
you talk so well in public. Yay! Oh, no, you were great.
My honey.
Dear honey, that's very sweet.
Great.
Well, we should let you guys, we'll see if we can get you better seats. They're in nosebleed heaven right now.
We're
but we'll-
fine with any
Yeah.
seats.
The other
As
seats
long
we're
as I
glad to
see Annie.
Okay.
We have seats that have just coiled springs back there.
Right. And for the children, what she was saying about why she was taken to the orphanage, because her father had to leave them alone at night to go to work. Could you imagine being left, you guys, young kids, alone at
And we
night?
were just like five.
Like
six.
Maddie's age.
My-
Maddie's 4.
My older sister was 7, we were 5, and I had a sister that was younger, baby.
Right. So the 7-year-old Emma would
Was
be,
taking care of
literally
us.
Emma would be in charge of her family.
Yeah.
That's what, really? Could you imagine? A 7-year-old's in charge. Wow. So anyway,
So who's Annie here?
here's Annie. Yeah.
Hey, Annie.
So, doing proud. Yeah. Well, I think it's so great to have you guys here today. It's just, you know, God brought you here because for this to happen, I mean, the
It's a
coincidence.
God wink.
Yeah, a God wink, yes. The last performance, I mean, it's just odd timing and luckily we got to talk about it, so.
And thank you for letting me do it.
Oh, thank you for being here. Thank them. Yay!